Hello, Mustang fans, and welcome to our final edition of the Cory Sauter Show for the 2012 season here at Marshall Cable Access Studio One and online at smsumustangs.com. We're glad you could join us again. I'm Kelly Loft, Athletic Communications Director at Southwest Minnesota State University, and we're going to talk Mustang football. We'll wrap up the 2012 season, look back at last Saturday's game against Augustana College in the season finale. Mustangs lose a heartbreaker 38-35 to the Vikings. We'll talk about the season, as I mentioned, and look ahead to the 2013 football season with head coach Cory Sauter. And the head coach joins us on the show again this week. And Coach, we'll have a lot to talk about here in the next half hour or so about this 2012 season, looking ahead to next year. But let's first talk about the game on Saturday against Augustana College, a team that the Mustangs have not beaten in a long time, since 1991. And you knew there were a lot of things at senior day, trying to get that win, try to get to 5-6 in conference. And just a tough, exciting way to end the ball game and end the season with a loss by 3 to Augustana. But overall, your thoughts of that game, because it kind of just summarized the entire 2012 season.
Well, it was, the thing that we wanted to accomplish going in this game was to make sure that we played with passion. We played our style of football. We didn't do anything that would take away from what we've accomplished this season. And with that being said, we put ourselves in position to tie that ball game at the end. And unfortunately, it had to come down to that. I really felt we had some opportunities in that second half to put us in great position to win. And we're 1 or 2 plays away, and that is been a summary of our season. 1 to 2 plays. We've won some close games this year, but we've also lost some tight ball games, and we've got to be able to battle through those things. And but all in all, just the effort in the game was where it needed to be. Execution wasn't always perfect. First play of the ball game offensively, we ended up having a turnover, and I think it was our lone turnover on offense. But it gave them great field position right away. They were able to get off to a good start against us, and we had to battle back, and we knew that was a tough challenge because their offense is very talented. They're ranked number 2 in the conference in total offense and do a lot of great things that way, and it was a big task for our defense. So it was something that our kids just continued to battle the entire ball game, and again, we just fell just a little bit short, and we've got to find a way to make 1 or 2 more plays to win these games. Well,
the Mustangs opened the game with a kickoff. It went out of bounds. Augustana took over, went down and scored, and as Coach just mentioned, a interception on the first play of scrimmage for the Mustang offense, and next thing you know, you're down 14-0. But as we mentioned, and how you've done all season long, when you fell behind, and not only in a game, but after losing to Crookston, you came back and rallied back and got some big wins. You rally back here, you take a lead in the third quarter, you're down by 10 at half, but you come back, and in the fourth you have a lead, and it just goes down to that final play. And as you mentioned, 1 play, 1 field goal missed, and a couple plays throughout the game, the difference. But again, the attitude that your squad showed all the way down to the final whistle was pretty impressive, that they just never had that never say die attitude.
Well, you got to give our guys a lot of credit, because it's not easy to fight back when you're down early, and we've been in that position before, and it just says a lot about the types of players on our team, because if you're not mature enough to handle that, guys start throwing in the flag, throwing in the towel early, and then things get ugly. And that hasn't been the case this year. Almost every single ball game we've been in, or at least had a chance to play in the fourth quarter, and so that's I think the biggest improvement we've had, is just the competitive level that we've played at, and the consistency to go along with that has been much improved. And we've always talked about the turnover part of it, and just our improvement in that department. How we last season we were at a -10, and this year we're at a +7, so a 17 turnover difference, and that, along with the ability to run the football, that helps our cause. And so for us to be where we're at, 4-7 as a final record wasn't what we were aspiring for. It wasn't our ultimate goal, but the level of play was, and we definitely made an increase there. And sometimes you're not going to always get those things to go your way. And I think our kids played hard and played well despite of the record, and despite of some of those breaks that we didn't get to go our way. And so that's probably the biggest thing that I think we can take away from this season.
And I think a key, and people to touch on it, are your seniors. You had 18 individuals who played their final game in a Mustang uniform, and they were able just to not only perform on the field of play, but were just great leaders off it as well. And you look at the guys that made plays. Dan Tim, a special teams player who recovered a fumble in the ball game to help set up the Mustangs. And you talk about your senior quarterback and running backs. I mean, some very special players, and obviously, and that's what you strive to do. You want to have guys that graduate and that you are going to miss, because that means they did very well in your program, and those are just a handful of the guys that really did a great job throughout their 4- and 5-year careers at Southwest.
Yeah, it's always a good sign when you're sad to see guys leave, because you'd much rather have it that way than the other end of it where you're happy a guy's gone because of the headaches that they may have caused over the years. But they all been great. I mean, some of them have been here for 4 to 5 years. Some of them have been here for only 2 years. And so it's just a great group of guys, different backgrounds, different positions, different playing time levels. Some guys are starters, some guys are backups, some guys just do special teams, some guys don't play at all. But they all had their role, and they all embraced it and came together. And that's just the great thing about football, is you just have to be able to put that part of it together, because there are a lot of moving parts, and our guys bought in. And then more than anything, our seniors set the stage, set the example for all of our younger players, understanding what it takes to compete in this conference, as well as what it means to be all in. And our players saw that. I mean, we had some tremendous leaders that really, more than just playing, just being able to keep people accountable each and every day, and that's really during practice, because anybody can show up and get excited for a game and all that, but it's on Tuesday's practice when you just came off a tough loss. How do they react? How do they work? That's really where we made the biggest strides during our season. And
you just talk about the schedule for the 2012 season, and obviously we've talked about this the last month or two, about how many close games that we've had. Mankato in double overtime, and the Mary game, we'd love to have that one back again in Crookston. And you look at the wins. You beat Wayne State, a team that's got the defensive player of the year, and really just dominated that game at home on homecoming. Northern State, you went on the road. They're playing for the division championship, the last regular season game of the season, so a very good win there. I mean, we've said it numerous times, but honestly could have 7 wins this year, and maybe even one more than that, with about 10 plays. And obviously could go both ways as well, but it just shows that we're not that far off. And, with another recruiting class in here and some guys that are coming back at some very important positions, I mean, we have a chance to compete again.
Well, I always remember Glenn Mason to this day when he first came to Minnesota back in the day, back in 1997, and he always made the statement of, teams that are 3-8 and 8-3, there really isn't a whole lot of difference between those teams. And I know as a player, we always thought he's crazy, because we thought, we're miles away from where we need to be, and the reality of it is it really isn't. And you saw how they progressed it, about a year or two after, and they're going to bowl games consistently. And so same thing with us. I mean, every year is a new year, but for us to play the way we did, you could feel it, you could see it, our players could see it, our coaches could see it. That to me means a lot. We'd all love to be 7-4. We'd all like to be 6-5, have a winning season. But the good thing is we're going the right direction, and as long as our players believe that, and as long as the incoming players are believing that, we'll be in good shape. But we still have a lot of work to do. I mean, because everyone else in our conference from here on out is going to be recruiting their tails off to get that next big find and the next future player to help them get over the top. We're doing the same thing. We just have to do a better job than everyone else.
You're right. And again, the Mustangs close out the season, a 38-35 loss to Augustana. SMSU finishing at 4-7 during the 20-12 season, and we have lots to talk about some postseason accolades and looking ahead to 2013. So we're going to get to the highlights from this past Saturday's game at the Regional Event Center, Senior Day at the stadium, as the Mustangs open up this first quarter. As we talked about, they were down 14-0 in the first quarter, but able to come back. And here's a great catch by Tyler Erickson.
Back shoulder fade, and Erickson has been doing that his whole career.
And some of these highlights, just one shot, so we'll have to go quick through them. But here's a defensive stand, Deshaun Miller filling the gap.
Great addition for our team this year. We need more guys like him to step up and play for us.
And here's a 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. Mustangs get on the board, a 4-yard touchdown run by Warren Matthews.
Yep, offensive line just does a tremendous job just creating a crease, and Warren hits it and keeps his legs churning and ends up getting in the end zone.
It's 14-7. Then Augustana scores to go up 20-7, but a big extra point block by A.J. Page as he squeezes through the offensive lineman of Augustana and blocks the kick.
Yeah, one thing about A.J. is he's got those 7-foot, 8-foot wingspan. He's got those long arms to be able to get in there, and you can see him inside here, gets a finger on it, and that's a big play for us.
Yeah, huge points, and the Mustangs trail 20-7. And now into the second quarter, Mustang at their own 44-yard line, and Pashon, a great pass off his back foot.
Yeah, we're in an empty set here, and the bad news is we get a hit on our quarterback, but he stays in there, makes a nice, accurate throw, and we get a big first down.
Mustangs continue. Pashon makes some defenders miss, an 11-yard gain.
Really has done nice job all year long, and really the past couple of years, being able to run this play effectively, being able to see blocks develop, it's been an efficient play for us all the past couple of years.
Mustangs cut the deficit to 6 following this 8-yard touchdown pass to Anthony Dean.
Yep, we get a great pocket, and Dean gets inside the defender and creates a touchdown there.
And then on the kickoff, the Mustangs strip it, Dan Tim, and recovers it at the Augie 42-yard line.
Tell you what, 2 weeks in a row, he's kind of a legend now on our special teams. Everyone's rooting for him, and these are big plays. I mean, they're hard to make, and he kind of plays it off as it wasn't a big deal. But when you play hard and you play with effort, these things happen, and you got to play to the whistle, and that's why he's on that special teams, is to create something big like that.
Yeah, second straight week that Tim got the turnover, and the Mustangs would go down and score just a few plays later with Mustangs. Warren Matthews catching this one up and setting up for the score.
Typical Warren Matthews making guys miss. He just has such great hips. I mean, makes guys miss left and right, and just a way to end his career as far as a touchdown like that. That is a tremendous play.
And Mustangs here later on in the second quarter on 2nd and 8 at their own 41-yard line, Pashon to another senior Abe Koss for a 32-yard gain.
Steps up in the pocket, finds them coming across the field, and really allows us to get in great field position, gets us inside the 25-yard line.
Mustangs trail. Augustana comes back with the touchdown and then a field goal and leads 31-21. But A.J. Page here on defense trips up the running back for a gain of 0 yards.
Left side of the screen, he kind of knifes through there and gets the ankle, makes a big play.
And the Mustangs offensively, a couple of plays here back-to-back. Gannon Moore, a strong run.
Again, typical run by Gannon Moore, a strong back, a power back, get a great hole inside, splits two defenders and makes about 5 guys have to bring him down.
And the Mustangs go into the red zone, and 3rd and 11, a big third down conversion. Pashon finds Erickson for a 20-yard touchdown.
Nice little scramble by Pashon, and Erickson does a great job of just staying alive and making himself an available target, and big play. I mean, tell you what, to make a play like that is critical. Get us in the end zone like that, and it isn't easy to do. These are hard things to practice. During the course of the week, you just never know how things will sort out. But Erickson, just a big play for us, getting some separation from their DB.
31-28 the score, and then the Mustang defense steps up, and a big stop by the Mustang D here at the Augustana 35-yard line.
Yeah, you can see Bobowitz here in the inside linebacker position, comes through untouched, pops him pretty good, and then we got a couple other guys rallying to the football. Good to see that swarm.
And later on, Mustangs, here's a great read by Tate Bunkers, fending off a block, and he trips up their running back.
That's a tough play, and he made it. I tell you what, he makes some of those things look easy.
Mustangs down by 3. Here's a 4th down play in the end zone. Durante Smith knocks the ball away, and Mustangs get the ball back.
Yep, you get great pressure, and that's what started it all, and then we're able to be in position to make the play in the end zone.
Mustangs trying to regain the lead, and Warren Matthews back-to-back big runs, a 12-yarder, now here's a 24-yard run.
Yeah, I tell you what, you'll see the vision that he has here in the end zone copy. He ran about 50 yards, to get a 25, and that's the type of running back he is. He's gonna see certain things. He's gonna trust it, and utilize his speed and ability to get around defenders. But you can see here he went a long ways to get that 25-yard gain.
And the Mustangs into the 4th quarter now take the lead as Pashon hooks up with Cody Condon on something that I call a fork route.
Yep, it is a 3rd and 2, and the situation here, we're just trying to get a first down. Well, we end up getting the touchdown, but some of these plays we have some options to go with, and Cody had a two-way go and made a nice play on the touchdown. And you can see here, just nice protection. We gave our quarterback enough time to see it develop. And he gets it off nice, and he's just got a nice wingspan to throw it up to.
And that gave the Mustangs a 35-31 lead. 12 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Mustang defense trying to make a stop here to keep that lead. And our final highlight of this ball game, 2nd and 5 from the 41-yard line. Jacob Letzel makes a big tackle for loss to push the Vikings back to 3rd and 11.
Yep, Jake does a nice job here, and again, it gets us in a situation where it's 3rd and 11, and that's what you want to be in when you're playing defense and make a team one-dimensional. And so, all in all, our defense played really well the second half. We did give up the long drive for them to go up, but I thought all in all, to keep their offense somewhat in check, we put our defense in some bad situations early on, and they had to battle through those things, and made some adjustments in the second half to allow us to stay in the ball game.
Again, the Mustangs had the 35-31 lead, and Augustana, give them credit, picked up some big 3rd down conversions on their ensuing drive. That went a 6-minute drive, 92 yards, they score, and Mustangs trail 38-35. You get the ball back with just over 3 minutes to go and get it down into Augustana territory. And I think most people thought that whoever had the ball last was probably going to win, and we had a chance to win the ball game, but unfortunately not able to get it in the end zone. Had to attempt a field goal, and the field goal just missed wide left. It was definitely long enough, and Mustangs lose 38-35. But again, that just showed the fight that you guys had. And you had a guy, Lance Schubiler, that made some big kicks this year. 49-yarder in a game winner against Northern when we were trailing at the time, and he filled in very well this season, and filling in and doing not only the place kicking but punting as well.
He sure did. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do, and some of those key kicks that he's had all season have been the result of winning ball games. And we put him in position. The kick was plenty long, just missed it slightly left, and that's what we want. We want our kickers to go out there with no pressure, and if you miss it, you miss it. I don't want him thinking about that for the rest of the off season. I want him to just think about whatever the next kick presents itself, I'm gonna hit it through, and so we're not gonna get all worked up about that. Tough thing was we didn't have any timeouts. At the end, we used up some timeouts during that 3rd and 4th quarter that prevented us from really utilizing our entire offense, which would have put us in good position to maybe get closer for an easier field goal or to score a touchdown. And that was the tough part about it, is just being short a timeout that we needed.
Well, again, some of the numbers for Southwest individually for the 2012 season. Warren Matthews and Gannon Moore, what a great season. Those two senior running backs combined for almost 1,600 yards in rushing yards, 17 touchdowns. Gannon Moore led the team in receptions with 37. Tyler Pashon, 19 touchdown passes, just 7 interceptions, and threw for 2,400 yards. And all three of those players have their names etched in that Mustang record book in the top 10 in passing for Pashon and for rushing as well. Gannon Moore, the career record holder in touchdowns scored for rushing, and again Matthews and Moore both in the top 9 in school rushing attack, and really just some great numbers. And all conference wise, we should mention Warren Matthews named first team all conference in the South Division as a running back. Second team, Gannon Moore, Brandon Puffer on the offensive side, and Joe Stupka on the defensive side, who led the team in tackles here in 2012. And honorable mention, Tate Bunkers, Kyle Johnson, and Jake Thiel all getting honors from the conference as well. And overall, Coach, your thoughts on this 2012 season? You kind of touched on that, but how about anything that's maybe surprised you throughout this season? Maybe the play of certain individuals. Obviously, look at some newcomers. Deshaun Miller, we've talked about numerous times, and Blake Pennick, and but overall, some other guys that stepped up. I could think of a handful on both offense and defense.
Well, I mean, young guys have stepped up, older guys improved. You put that combination together, you have the makings of something special. And you took a guy like Abe Koss, who just came in and embraced that starting role. With Wickett having the injury, during training camp, he stepped right in and made plays for us, and that was good to see. But when you look at some of those true freshmen, Drew McReynolds, playing right away and having to fill a role. Graham Ketterling going in, playing an interior D line in the Northern Sun. I mean, that's not an easy task to tackle, and he knows very well that he needs to put some weight on and get stronger in those things. But I think when you put that combination together, you've got a lot of guys coming back. We're going to lose some key guys, but that's just the nature of football. And as you name off, some of those all-conference lists, I mean, we're going to lose a few, but there's also quite a few that are coming back, which is also encouraging for us. And so that's the fun part, is really celebrating your seniors, and then taking a look at the guys coming back and seeing how well they gel and how well they come together, because that's something that just happens every single year. You've got to find a way to gel. You got to find a way to have that chemistry, that family atmosphere, and so that'll be our challenge as we get into our off season. And a lot of that's developed through the off season as we get into our workouts. We met with all of our true freshmen, and really find out, all right, who's in, who's all in, because I don't want a guy that's half in, half out, or 95% in and 5% out. I mean, we got to find out who's going to be here, who's going to be willing to do the work, and so we've had great responses that way, and we're looking forward to making some big gains. And as you know, we've got to progress at a faster clip than anyone else in our conference for us to gain any ground, and that'll be our challenge in January, February, March, and then we get into spring football in April, and that's not that far away. We think that we've got this big gap of time, and we basically recruit, and all of a sudden we're right back into spring ball again, and so that's just the nature of it.
Yeah, of course, the 2012 season is over, and the student athletes will have some time off here, but they'll get right back at it in winter workouts. And as Coach mentioned, the season for 2013 has already begun. Coach is on the road recruiting, and you've got a lot of work to do. I know you're looking at junior college student athletes, and they can come in at semester and join in January, and then obviously the big February signing day that it really never ends. You guys are going to be on the road here for the next 2 months getting ready for that signing day, and obviously we know about there are some holes to fill, but it's not just we have some redshirt guys that can come in next year, but you're always planning not only for next year but 2 and 3 years down the road. That it's kind of that chess game to figure it out. But this is a crucial time for the Mustang football program. Now, once the season's over, you're far from done.
Yeah, well, as we always say, and I think every week on the program, you win with players, and I'm a much better coach if I've got a great player that I'm coaching. And same thing with any other position on our team, is you have to have playmakers. You have to have guys that are want the football and want to make big plays when the game's on the line, and we've got some of them. We've got a good nucleus of guys that are going to be very, very competitive in this conference, but we've got to find out more about some of our younger players. We'll find that out here shortly once we get into spring football, where they're at and where their development curve has gone. But for us, we're going to look to increase our talent level. That way we have great competition in practice and during spring football and in fall camp. And it's one of those things. It's there's some guys that'll end up leaving at some point. So for us, sometimes there's some curveballs thrown in there as well. Guys that you think are going to be able to contribute or going to be here that may or may not be here. And so it's an ongoing cycle that we have to plan for, and we have to have some contingency plans in case things turn a different direction, so to speak. And but all in all, we've got a really good, tight-knit group. I mean, all the guys that I've talked to within our freshman group, they really enjoy just the closeness, the family atmosphere that we provide here at Southwest, and the community in general has been great for them. And we don't have all the distractions. They're just really locked in and getting an education and playing well for this university and this community, and that's really important to me, because at the end of the day, it's more than just the wins and losses. Yeah. These guys do a lot, besides football, and we all know what that is. And so it's a definite commitment by everybody, our coaches, our players, and everybody that decides to become a Mustang. It's a big commitment. It's not just play football a couple weekends a year and that's it. It's going to be a big commitment physically, mentally, emotionally, and again, to make that happen, you have to be all in. And the kids that we have are all in, and we've seen why we're able to stay in some ball games, just because of the resiliency and ability to just fight through some things. Yeah, it was a very exciting season. A lot of great memories from 2012 for the Mustang football program. Some exciting games. They didn't always turn out the way we wanted them, but went down to the wire and played hard every game. And we want to thank those 18 seniors for doing a great job of supporting Mustang program and making things so good on and off the field. Also, I want to wrap up this 2012 season with a lot of thanks. I want to thank Coach Sauter and his staff for the ability to get these highlights. It takes a lot of work, so I want to thank you and your staff, and also want to thank Jess Nelson down here at Studio One putting on this show. I really appreciate his support, and the City of Marshall to get this on the air here on local cable and on smsumustangs.com. And I know we get a lot of comments from people watching on cable and on the internet, and we appreciate your support all season of Mustang football and watching the Cory Sauter show. We couldn't do it without, if nobody was watching, they wouldn't have to do it. We wouldn't do it. But people do care, and we really appreciate your support. I know the coaching staff and student athletes at SMSU football appreciate it, your support throughout this 2012 season. So lots coming up. Make sure and keep updated. smsumustangs.com. We'll have updates of sightings throughout this offseason and getting ready for spring ball 2013. Just so many days away, not too far away. You should have a countdown as the Mustangs get ready for that 2013 season. Again, thanks for watching the Cory Sauter Show here for the 2012 season. Until next time, go Mustangs!